Alright, Windy City Warmongers, I'm back with an update on the Windy City Stunties. So this is Goblin Marine, the Stunty Supreme, and here we have the first week's recap for the Stunty League. This league has 8 players taking Stunty teams, heads up. So the first game, Brunch Time, which is Striker's team, versus 6 Psychopaths, which I believe is Nilly Man. Let me check that in my notes. Yeah, so this one was brutal. This is my game of the week. I think if you're going to watch one of these games, you should watch this one. It saw a near pitch clear, so there was only one halfling left on the pitch, I think. There were almost no stunties left at the end of the second half. Both trees were injured, one of them was dead. There were just violence everywhere. And it was raining for most of this one. So if you look at the SPP, just pinatas all around. 17 for the ogre team and 16 for the flings. So this one, just watch it. I'm not really gonna say too much about it because I don't want to ruin it. 19 blocks succeeded for the halflings, 24 for the ogres. 4 injuries and 2 kills inflicted by the halflings, 6 injuries and 2 kills by the ogres. This one was a brutal match. You should really check it out. Yeah, there was fouling. There were heads getting caved in from tap dancing. It was just a good match all around. So highly suggest watching this one. Excited to see what happens next week. It looks like Striker has in fact replaced his dead tree. So we'll see what these guys have to offer. But go back and look at it. It almost was 1-1, but Nillyman just couldn't get the ball in the second half. It was raining, and he was almost out of Snotlings or Noblars, and it didn't work out for him. But this was an exciting one. It was good to watch. Next up, Little Lizzie, which is your Romeo or Killman's Lizard team against the Psychedelic Shroomers, which is my Goblin team. So I took a Goblin build that has no trolls and every weapon, and I'm trying to rely on inducements on this. He took a pretty standard Lizard Man Stunty build. This one really just came down to a little bit me having more players than him. He only had 11 or 12 players. And just the handoffs. He went for some fast handoff and pass plays, and they just didn't work out for him. You know, he came up twos when he made those plays. My Fnatic managed to level up on the first game, so that bodes well for me, for this team. He's got grab now. Other than that, I've just got a whole bunch of SPP kind of split on my team. Unfortunately, I think he took an MNG on his Crocs. We'll cover that when we cover the teams in a minute. But, you know, he just had a rough game. Let me look at the dice rolls. So look at D6s for him. His dice weren't bad, but there's a lot of 2s at critical times, I think. His block dice were bad, man. So many skulls and so many both downs compared to the number of POWs. And you know, push POWs don't do anything for you in Stunty League. You know, those defender stumbles aren't really worth much. Whereas I had, you know, pretty decent, you know, basically the same block dice.
Basically.
And my dice weren't much better, but my team was better set up to hurt Stunties, really, you know. Goblins do goblin things. The one time my Bombardier tried to throw something, he blew himself up, so there's that. But really, I think this just came down to the man advantage and some bad luck at critical times for Killman. If we go back, next up, Trolls Are Stupid, which is Kadachi or Pookie Pookie, versus Make Like a Banana, which is Big Chuck's team. So this is another Goblin team with no trolls. He actually passed on the Bombardier. I'm not sure why you would go that build, but fair enough. And then Chuck is our Lizard player, Big Luck, continuing with that as this team. So this one, lots of KOs and injuries by Chuck. Not too many for the Goblins. That was kind of unfortunate. He had some trouble getting the removals, and Chuck just kind of had an easy enough time of it. So lots of SPP for the Lizardman and the Skinks. And how are the dice? Pretty even for Trolls Are Stupid, and Big Luck is not lucky. He had a lot of 1s, but seemed to have done okay with them. Block dice, pretty even overall. You know, not really anyone coming out on top or behind. What's up? No, I'm doing something, buddy. You just keep playing on your tablet there. You can watch the screen and listen to me, but I'm not gonna play right now.
I wanted to watch the yoga video.
Oh, maybe later.
Okay.
All right, and last up for the first week is the Elite of the Worst, our second Ogre team, against the Underway Freaks, our Underworld team, and the only Troll. So we have two Goblin teams and an Underworld team, and one Halfling team, and there are less Trolls in this league than there are trees. Even with one tree dying, there are still as many Trolls as trees. So that's interesting. Um, this game, let's see what I've got in the tail of the tape for this one. This was Grazy versus Wallenshoe or Kaminziner. Uh, Grazy's Saw didn't really show up to do much. Um, I'm not sure what was going on with it that day. It just didn't want to do anything. Grazy got a turnover. He got the ball in a stunty dodge into a 50-50 pickup and dodge away. He didn't need big hand or anything. Um, and Ogre had the ball for a while. That would have been nice to work. And then Grazy went for the Goblin throw at a group of people, and it didn't work. He dropped the Goblin. And at one point, 9 dice were thrown at the ball carrier to no avail. Just 3 die, 3 die, 3 die, nothing. So I don't know what you can do with that. There was a throw teammate play by the Ogres in the first half to equalize before the half was over, and then the Underworld weren't able to throw teammate one turn. But this is the game where in the second half there's a Troll touchdown. So this was also a pretty interesting game. But still, I got to give Game of the Week to Striker versus Nillyman just for the brutality. Like, it's not often you see full injury boxes on both sides from Stunties hitting other Stunties. Like, this wasn't just the Ogres doing things. This was Halflings and Noblars injuring each other and doing a fair bit of face tap dancing. So, all in all, pretty entertaining first week. Coming up, so teams, we have Kadachi, who I believe is Pookie Pookie, who has, like I said, a Goblin team with no Troll. He also passed on the Bomber, so he's got a Fanatic, a Saw, a Pogoer, 2 rerolls and an Apo, and a 14-man roster. Whereas my Goblin team also has no Trolls, took the Bomber, and 14-man roster, but no Apo. And I've got a niggled player from last week, and I picked up Grab. Puke has a couple goblins with skill with SPP, but no levels. Next up, the Elite of the Worst, Kaminziner or Wallenshoe, and correct me if I'm saying it wrong, his Ogre team. So he went with 6 Ogres, no rerolls, all the cojones to him. And he's got, I think this is an MNG. I don't think this is a niggle. Yeah. So he's got an MNG Ogre. It looks like an Ogre picked up MVP, so that's good for him. He's got quite a few injuries on him, and then a touchdown on a Noblar. Just kind of how it goes with Ogres, I guess. The other Ogre team over here is Nillyman. He went with 5 Ogres and 2 rerolls to start with, so a little bit more conservative there. He's a little bit more aimed towards doing things than punching things when they work. He's got a lot of injuries caused by his Ogres. He's got SPP on almost all of them. MVP taken on a Noblar, and he wasn't able to score, so unfortunately he doesn't have a TD, but his Ogres are coming along nicely. They're going to be scary in another game. And this Noblar, I think, is niggled. Oh, agility busted, even better. So he's on line of scrimmage duty probably from now on. Interesting that he doesn't have an Apo. If I were him, with as many Goblin teams as we have, I'd be a little worried about that and look to pick that up, but no harm, no foul so far. Next up is Grazy's Underworld team. So he's the only Troll. Oh, and his Troll? No. Why does it look like his Troll has a tail? Interesting. So his Troll's got an injury and a touchdown. He's got another touchdown on a Goblin. MVP on one. His team's coming along. His Troll will be scary soon. I'm not sure what he's going to take first. In a Stunty League, I would really look to see either Prehensile Tail or Tentacles. But there's a couple valid choices for the Troll, but I'm not really liking Claw. Although we do have 2 Ogre teams, we'll see what he ends up taking when that Troll levels. and he has 3 rerolls and no Apo. You don't really need the Apo because the Troll's got regen, and that's the only one that you really need to care about too much. Big Chuck's team, make like a banana. He's very adept at using lizards. He just went 11 skinks, Crocs, 3 rerolls. No SPP on the Crocs yet. It's spread out on the skinks, but skinks are fine. They become little bullshit machines, so they're going to be okay. And last but not least is Killman, who I believe... Oh, I haven't... We've got 2 teams left. So the other lizard team is Killman. I believe he is Yo Romeo in Discord. He also went with 11 skinks and a Crocs. His poor Crocs tried to level hitting my Fnatic and ended up needing to take a skull. He either double skulled or 1-die skulled and got injured with an MNG. So that was bad luck on him, both the getting knocked down and then being injured, and then it being an MNG. There was no excuse for that. Like, that did not need to happen. And then he's got a niggled skink. So his team will come along. He's got SBP on his skink and his Crocs. He'll be okay. Last but not least is Striker, who had 2 trees and his halflings. Already had a tree die and had to replace it. And he took the Wizard Stadium. I tell you what, he's already got a double. So we talk about big luck, having luck. Striker's coming on strong with that. He's already got a double. Already got that block. But in his game, his chef was on fire too. He stole 5 rerolls. But the other team only had 2, so he only got 4. But his chef was on fire. His game was just, you really need to watch that game. So next week, we have Goblins versus Underworld. Or no, this is Ogres versus Underworld. That'll be an interesting one. See how this goes. We have Ogres versus Skinks. Big Chuck versus Elite of the Worst is Common Zimmer. We have a Goblin Mirror match. Trolls Are Stupid, Pookie Pookie versus me. We have Lizards versus Strikers, Halflings. So we've seen most of these matches before. I think we'll see how Strikers team does. Halflings are so much slower than the Skinks, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't have a good feel for Stunties. The Goblin Mirror match is going to come down to dice. Like, there's almost no way a Goblin Mirror match doesn't come down to dice and whose weapons maul the opponents the most. So, Ogres versus Skinks. I don't know. Chuck's good. I don't see Elite of the Worst taking this, but maybe he will. So, Underworld versus Ogres. Underworld don't really have any skills yet, so I just have a hard time calling any of these right now. The only one I think I can call Chuck taking it because he's Chuck. I think I can call Striker taking it because he has a block, and I just can't call the others as it is. Just gonna have to see how it turns out. So this is the start of a glorious season. Right now, I have the lowest TV. We'll see how that goes. One game in, I'm not really concerned about the leaderboard. There's enough time to see how it goes, and there's plenty of time for any of these teams to implode. So get to scheduling your games, and we'll see you again next week. Signing off. That's Goblin Marine.